Hello everyone and welcome back MMA News Channel. I hope everyone is having a wonderful day. Before we begin, please hit the subscribe button and give this video a thumbs up. Jake Paul responds to Dana White's insignificant justification behind closing down Conor McGregor versus Logan Paul. Jake Paul is shocked by the most recent reports about UFC manager Dana White. The YouTuber-turned-fighter has been in conflict with Dana White for quite a long time. However, that hasn't halted his WWE genius sibling, Logan Paul, from working with MMA's most influential man. As of recently, White as of late closed down a $500 million show boxing session between the dissident and Conor McGregor, who he demands will get back to the UFC octagon not long from now, subsequent to being sidelined since July 2021 when he broke his leg. Famous needs the matchup. He's made that much understood. Notwithstanding that, the Irishman as of late conceded that his battle with Paul is dead in light of the fact that the UFC aren't into it. Jake Paul responds to revealed reason Dana White rejected Conor McGregor versus Logan Paul. On Sunday, the Everyday Mail shared a story uncovering the genuine explanation White is declining to book McGregor versus Paul, despite the fact that it appears sure to be a compensation for each view raving success. An anonymous source guarantees that White's repugnance for the matchup is about his disdain for Jake, who he has been quarreling with for different purposes behind the beyond couple of years. Dana White loathes Jake Paul, the Day-to-Day Mail's source guaranteed. There is a steady wild disposition towards one another, and they have a ceaseless quarrel in light of the fact that Jake keeps on getting down on Dana, on how he treats his warriors and how they get compensated. What's more, as far as concerns Dana, he thinks Jake is making the universe of boxing a total joke. He abhors the notoriety Jake has gotten. Dana detested the Tyson battle and simply despises all that Jake has given boxing. Dana thinks it is a finished joke. Conor and Logan set up their battle without help from anyone else. All the cash and the promotion would go through them, and that isn't off limits for Dana, the source proceeded. He would have possibly believed it to be finished in the event that it wasn't Logan. Yet Dana's disdain for Jake is the necessary fuel to right away say no. Dana doesn't believe the Paul siblings should benefit monetarily ever in the event that it detracts from his own primary concern. The quarrel runs profound and will stay negligible. It will be a chilly afternoon in July before Dana and the Paul siblings are in total agreement. On Monday, Mike Tyson's rebound rival shared the Day-to-Day Mail's article to his ex, previously known as Twitter, page and communicated his doubt in a subtitle. Paul expressed, Dana White didn't allow Conor to battle Logan BC of his disdain for me? Haha, I trust this is BS. Can't be that unimportant, can he? Jake Paul and Conor McGregor conflict. McGregor as of late ran into the Paul siblings when he went to Donald Trump's initiation. The previous double-weight UFC champion went this way, and that with Logan in viral film. It was accepted Jake stayed calm until another clasp of him talking with McGregor was shared on the web. Jake highlighted his new accomplishment against Southpaws as a potential motivation behind why McGregor isn't as enthused about confronting him as he is in engaging Logan. For what reason do you want to battle him? Jake inquired. It's a more straightforward battle. It's a greater name. It's a greater name, McGregor demanded. You understand how I treat Southpaws, Jake terminated back. What did you do to any Southpaw? Nate Diaz? You were unable to try and put him down, McGregor said. He added when Anderson Silva was referenced, look, you've turned out to be super beneficial things. You've done a few okay things. Jake Paul hides any hint of failure after sibling Logan misses out on $250 million payday from Conor McGregor battle because of Dana White. No, Dana White expressed a long time back on exculpation my take, stopping theory about a potential Logan Paul versus Conor McGregor boxing display. The Irishman started trust for his revisitation of battle sports last month, following a 4-year break due to various difficulties. Yet, the UFC big boss immediately run those expectations, as the famous remaining parts under an elite UFC contract, keeping him from battling in some other advancement. Prochaska roughly answered the discourse group after he was censured. by Daniel Cormier and Joe Rogan for his striking safeguard, regardless of having chipped away at it before the battle. In any case, Rogan has squeezed Prochaska back as of late after he showed up on his web recording, The Joe Rogan Experience. Before Prochaska rematched Pereira at UFC 303 prior last year, Prochaska guaranteed that Pereira utilizes dark wizardry and voodoo to assist him with winning battles, and it had a major impact in their pre-battle develop. While on Rogan's digital broadcast, the UFC symbol squeezed the previous boss on his case and requested that he make sense of what he implies by it. I would rather not talk about that completely in light of the fact that it is something that I am modest for, Prochaska told Rogan. I can't say this is all there is to it since everybody has their own particular manner and no one is, even me, ready to express something for someone to genuinely take it. I become mixed up in that question. So truly, I won't talk about where is the enchantment, how to utilize the wizardry. That dark enchantment was the greatest power for my adversary since I was engaged for him, not so much for me, he proceeded. The 32-year-old has transparently conceded that in front of his rematch against Poatan, he was too centered around blaming Pereira for utilizing otherworldly things rather than the actual battle. Joe Rogan concedes Prochaska has developed since his last battle. Regardless of having at first been condemning of a portion of Prochaska's protective work at UFC 311, Rogan conceded in his sit-down interview with the previous top dog that he has most certainly developed since his last battle. You said you needed to develop in the wake of losing to Pereira. One thing I found in this last battle was advancement. The counters, the head development, and the counters were splendid. I was appreciate. That is an alternate Yuri Prochaska. Joe Rogan concedes Prochaska has developed since his last battle. Notwithstanding having at first been reproachful of a portion of Prochaska's guarded work at UFC 311, Rogan conceded in his sit-down interview with the previous top dog that he has certainly developed since his last battle. You said you needed to develop in the wake of losing to Pereira. One thing I found in this last battle was development. The counters, the head development, and the counters were splendid. I was appreciate. That is an alternate Yuri Prochaska. You're most certainly getting better, which is captivating. You had an extremely splendid methodology. You held on until you arrived at a specific level before you entered the UFC. Rogan proceeded. Starting reports had recommended Dana White would assume an urgent part in getting the profoundly expected battle going. However, White's dismissal left fans confounded, particularly taking into account McGregor's star power, which ensures a fruitful occasion and a robust payday that was accounted for to be a gigantic $250 million each for the couple in question. Simply take a gander at the case of McGregor's confrontation with Floyd Mayweather, where White assumed a huge part. So what's disrupting the general flow now? Logan Paul's more youthful sibling, Jake Paul, has a hypothesis. It's Dana White's own hatred for him. The issue youngster as of late shared his considerations on X, expressing, Dana White didn't allow Conor to battle Logan due to his scorn for me? Haha, I trust this is BS. Can't be that unimportant, can he? Could this truly be the explanation? While it might appear to be unrealistic, Dana White has a well-established contention with Jake Paul, one that turned out to be more open during the memorable limited-time offer UFC 306 last year. At that point, Jake blamed White for restricting him from UFC occasions, a case that drove Jake to go to the occasion in mask, dressed as an elderly person in fight. This continuous quarrel comes from Jake Paul's rehashed analysis of White for purportedly coming up short on UFC contenders. Jake has been vocal about his requests, approaching the UFC chief to simply pay contenders more. In spite of this, Dana White's disposition toward Logan Paul has been discernibly unique. He has applauded Logan before, alluding to him as splendid. The UFC supervisor has additionally explained that he holds no feelings of spite against either Paul's sibling. In any event, complimenting Jake for taking large actions in the game's world. Jake Paul condemned Conor McGregor over his controlled relationship with Dana White. The initiation of Donald Trump as the 47th leader of the U.S. last week in Washington, D.C., drew overall consideration. For the game's world, a champion second was the unforeseen, cordial trade among Jake and Logan Paul and Conor McGregor. Known for their incessant online entertainment conflicts, the triplets shockingly embraced a cheerful tone during the occasion. Nonetheless, the brotherhood didn't keep going long. Not long after, a Logan Paul's video blog became famous online, displaying a warm trade among him and Conor McGregor at Legislative Hall Slope during the introduction. In the video, the Irishman poked at the free thinker, saying, "You kept your mouth shut, you did," because of the dissident's previous analysis of McGregor for neglecting to stand up against Dana White's excusal of their reputed $500 million boxing session. Logan, be that as it may, wasn't one to withdraw. He terminated back with a blistering counter. "You're giving this, Dana White this, Dana that. When you're constrained by the WWE too, brother. Try not to be giving it this. My person, you are an all-out comedian. You don't control your own profession. The guide concludes what you do and don't do, and you bow and say, 'Thank you for the installment, sir.' What is your perspective on Jake Paul's allegations against Dana White? Do you believe White's accounted for scorn for Jake impacted his choice to pull out help for the potential Logan Paul versus Conor McGregor bout? Share your viewpoint underneath. Humorous Theo Vaughn had a fantastic view for Conor McGregor and Logan Paul's volatile chat in the midst of their new battle talks. Conor McGregor and Logan Paul had a startling up-close and personal spat while going to the new U.S. official initiation in Washington, D.C. McGregor, Logan, and Jake Paul shared transportation to the different initiation celebrations, and keeping in mind that things were generally energetic between all gatherings, strains are fermenting after late battle talks.